Video today for fresh new bodybuilders, young bodybuilders, or aspiring to be bodybuilders. What I want to do is really give you a new perspective that maybe you never considered. From my point of view, as a bodybuilder, as a competitor, and as somebody who competed internationally, nationally, division competition, local, all the levels you can ever imagine. Reaching the semi-professional level, and even thinking that one day I would like to compete at Mr. Olympia. Well, I was 15 at the time, and that was pretty much nearly my only dream. So let's look at now, more than 10 years later. The whole point is I'm talking to the younger guys or girls who are starting, because I'm almost like talking to you from the future. It's one thing I always wished I had, or somebody that is older than me or went through it and can advise me properly. But here I am advising you from my experience, and hopefully it will help you to at least make a decision. At the very least, it will save you a lot of time of wandering around and thinking, do you want to do it, you don't want to do it, and it will give you an idea about how it's like to be a competitive bodybuilder, and maybe not reaching. And the reason why I'm saying maybe not reaching your goal, because nowadays it's basically drugs game. That's what it is. I'm gonna call it as it is. The more drugs you have, the better chance you have. Now, of course, I'm going to come to a very, very important point, which non-bodybuilders don't know. The fact that drugs on its own is not going to get you to win Mr. Olympia at all. In fact, all these Mr. Olympia competitors, they're all on the highest level of drugs ever. However, there's always only one Mr. Olympia, right? And there are people who competed at Mr. Olympia for all their life and never won it. Genetics, many other factors. Would take me to the next point, which basically, are you willing to live this life? At the moment, you might be 16, you might be 18, you might even be 15, you might be 25, anything. And you really wanted to do it, but I want you to take the time to really think about it. If you actually want to be a bodybuilder, competitive, the amount of performance enhancing drugs you have to take, and that is just to compete nationally, against few guys who are amateurs just like you, and maybe have the same training years like you and everything. It's almost impossible now to just be natural on a platform that is totally enhanced. And that takes me to the next point, which is, do you want to live this life? Now, of course, I've done this for over 10 years competitively, with all the behind scenes, if you like. But maybe it's for another video to talk about the PEDUs and the side effects and all that. Now, I'm one of the lucky ones who finished the competitive, or that high level of competitive career, with nearly zero side effects. You could say because I had a good genetics. You could say because I was always doing my blood work and the checkups and all that. Whatever. Now, On the other hand, some people will be a year into it and they had all the problems: liver functions, internal organs, heart, everything, oily skin, you know, blood pressure, all the problems. It's a big gamble. Like, yes, you might have a good genetics without knowing it, your body tolerance, whatever. But in reality, you have to do so much and risk so much for for the very, very small chance to be even a national champion. That might sound like I'm making it to be incredibly hard, which is not. Like, if you take the path, you know, you're halfway there. But from my point of view, it's incredibly stressful on the body, and it's very, very expensive. So nowadays, to get a cycle into cycle into cycle, whether it's story short, season, preparing, it's not worth it unless you're going fully in everything, balls deep, ready to take all the risks, ready to spend all the money, hoping you'd win big. And you know, considering even if you win massively, nowadays it's not football money. It's still, it's nothing incredibly crazy. You still need to rely on sponsorships and loads of things. However, this is not to tell you like never, you know, consider it and all that, but you just consider these factors when you're going for it. If you want to know specifics about the journey as a competitive bodybuilder to semi-pro level or even higher than that, give me comments and tell me exactly what you need help with, and I'll make further videos on that subject.